Blue Train?
Time's up. Let's do this.
Blue Train, close your ears.
We're in for a wild night.
Welcome to the news. The news is so good.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 131 of Born to be Wild, a Wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the Wild format of Hearthstone and spotlighting members of the Wild community. I'm your host, as always, Nate Wolf, joining you from beautiful, sunny Southern California here on this lovely Friday evening with no internet, by the way. So I'm voicing in from phone and videoing in from iPad, and it's super clunky, but hopefully I'll be back to normal next week. Adventures in moving. This time it's not my fault, but the internet is non-existent where I'm at the moment. So doing my best, but there is a ton of news tonight, and so we're going to jump right into it. But I am joined by two of my favorite people, and I want to say hello first. Hydra, welcome back. How are you?
Hello! Coming in from the rainy Vancouver, British Columbia area. And I'm just so stoked to be here with two of my favorite people to talk about this stuff. I've been super busy this week. There's so much hype, and I'm just down to talk about all this stuff all here right now.
Excitement abounds. And coming to you from snowy Denver, Colorado area, it's me, Electric Sheep City. And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Let me briefly explain how the show works. We record this podcast live every Friday evening at twitch.tv/borntobewildhs. And the video version of this podcast is then posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. Audio versions are also distributed to all of the podcast apps. So, however you're watching, listening, or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes, you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. A special extra big thank you to those of you who are joining us live on Twitch. It's always great to interact with everybody. Before we get started with the main topic of the show, we did want to say a quick but very important thank you to Shokunin, who's the executive producer of our show, but also to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. We greatly appreciate it. If you are interested in supporting us, there are a few ways that you can do that. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you can leave a comment, like, subscribe, that helps us. Or if you're interested in leaving a comment, any sort of feedback or review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or your podcast platform of choice. If you are somebody who's watching on Twitch, we do have some emotes that you can unlock. There are some free ones that you can get just by following. There's more that you can unlock by subbing, which is free if you have Amazon Prime and want to use that. And also, we have some merch that is available on our website, borntobewildhs.com. A bunch of t-shirts and stuff. I'm long overdue in making a new design, so hopefully we'll get one of those done soon. But yeah, take a look. There's links to all of that and more on our website. Again, borntobewildhs.com. Two other things, if you're interested in supporting us financially, we do have a Patreon for as little as $1 a month that goes directly into the show. And we do have a Discord channel. If anyone's interested in hanging out with us, there is a free Discord channel. The link, I'm sure we can put it in chat, but also on our website, borntobewildhs.com. We hang out, we share the news, we share funny jokes and memes and animal pictures and funny usernames and deck lists and all that stuff. I always forget about the deck lists. My favorite funny username from this week was Moist Fun Dip, I think was.
Yeah, that one was great.
Imagine you bought Fun Dip and the powder was already moist. I would be pretty annoyed, so that's a good one.
Nasty.
I'm supposed to be the one adding the moisture to it. Like, that's my job.
I started saving little like screenshots from Marvel Snap also, because I had a couple that were really funny this past week. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I'll add them to the Discord because, like, why not?
Agreed.
But, yeah, there's so much news, and there was so much going on that, like, we were all assembling the show notes throughout the week, and because my computer living internet situation is all kind of funky, it was like, well, let's try to do it early. Sheep has been super busy with work and school and stuff as well, and so I'm so happy that we started assembling it early, because there was like 3 different articles and blog posts and some stuff on the website and some stuff on Twitter and here, there, and everywhere that we've got stuff like assembled from a million different places. but I think that we got most of it. But yeah, there is a lot. We have a new expansion coming December 6th called March of the Lich King.
Let's
The trailer is amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's fully animated this time. Like normally how they do just like stills and then they'll animate the still like a tiny bit. Like, nah, this is like full on cartoon, like animated series style. If they made a like a World of Warcraft animated series, I would watch it so fast.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And if they did make an animated series, it would be like exactly this animation, and it would be incredible. Like they really knocked it out of the park.
And like I've always appreciated that the stop sort of still animation that they did before. I always had it in the back of my mind, like, what if, right? And yeah, they blew it out of the park. Props.
It's so good. If so, for those of you watching or listening or whatever, we share the show notes after the show gets posted. There's a link. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can click it. Goes to Google Docs. If you the link is also in the podcast description when that gets posted. So if you're interested in checking this out, there's links to all the different videos and the different articles and stuff, like all the sources for everything. There are links there and pictures and all that stuff. So check that out if you want to see. A lot of the stuff is on YouTube or the different websites. But anyways, yeah. So Death Knight, it was not a hoax after all. The leak was real. So new class, class number 11.
Let's do
Death
it.
Knight. They released the artwork for it. It's pretty sweet. You start off. It's interesting because you start off as like the Lich King, and then when you hit 1K, you turn into Prince Arthas. But the artwork is really cool. It's by the same person who did the Demon Hunter one. I can't remember the person's name off the top of my head now. But it's pretty rad.
It's kind of neat that it's in reverse, hey?
Yeah, it's interesting. And what's fun too is that we already have an Arthas hero portrait, but it's for Paladin.
Maybe
and
that's
so, but now we've got like Corrupt Arthas as the Death Knight. I actually I heard some people not digging it, but the color scheme, like the gray with the blue, it's totally my jam. I love it.
Oh, I love that.
It looks so cool.
The hoodie I'm wearing is like gray and blue right now, so I'm down.
You're already cosplaying as the Lich King. It's perfect.
By the way, I don't know how much press it got, and I don't think we covered it in the news stuff here, but they are doing a cosplay contest, which is like, okay, that's cool. I'm not going to participate. But if you go to the Hearthstone website and click on the link, they have about a dozen different images as like reference pieces for the cosplay. And I would bet dollars to donuts that these are like sneak previews of cards from this new set that just haven't been announced yet, because they're like Death Knight versions of a bunch of characters that we already know. There's a Khadgar, there's a Garona, there's a the Death Knight Starseeker, whatever her name is.
Do you have to do one of those, or can you do anything?
Nah, you gotta. Oh, I don't know. I didn't read the rules. I just looked at the pictures. but the reference art is really cool.
So there are 4 different categories for the cosplay contest. One is armor, one is needlework, one is Death Knight, and the final is called Goblin Craft, which is cardboard and duct tape.
Okay. That's what I was looking for. I have a lot of that at work.
Hey, there we go. I actually think it's super cool because Alkali, the community manager, was real big into cosplay. I remember at one point she had an amazing Dr. Boom Mad Genius costume. It was like incredible. Yeah. You know, for Halloween when like the kids have the costume that's like, it's like, you know, it looks like they're holding somebody in a box or in a bag or something, and they have like this little fake feet sticking out or whatever. But like it was Dr. Boom Mad Genius in the whole suit, but like the props were amazing. So I don't know, great person to be on the team, kind of leading that type of contest. I think is really cool. So we'll see. I'm always down to check out the results. There's some really creative people. It's always one of my favorite parts of BlizzCon was watching the cosplay contest.
For sure.
Always a blast.
Well, shall we talk about the thing that we've been waiting for? This new class they call the Death Knight that we've been theorizing about for how long, and it's finally here?
Let's do it.
Heck yes, we should. So, Death Knight. the hero power. Like, let's foundationally what we're going to be doing with this class, right? It's called Ghoul Charge. So 2 mana, summon a 1/1 ghoul with charge. It dies at the end of the turn. So 2 mana,
Right off the bat, like
charge.
I can't believe that they gave it charge. Right? So yeah, my thought was like, oh my gosh, charge is the thing that they said that they were never going to do. And they've done it every once in a while, and then it gets nerfed.
Now it's on a button.
Or we have now it's on a button. And so my thought was like, wow, I'm surprised. Like, we'll get into it in a minute, but one of the new fundamentals with this class is corpses, and the idea is for it, like having it die at the end of the turn. I totally get it. Ghoul is an undead minion type, and you want them to die to increase your like corpse count, but having it have charge is like, oh, okay. My thought was like, someone will find a way to break this within the first week. I said here, like, I'll bet they switch it to Rush by like within a month of release. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. We got clarification. We'll look at it later, but there is a, is it Baku support that where this becomes a 2/1 as well. And so there's some interesting shenanigans, maybe. Sheep, you had some thoughts on this?
Yeah. So I don't think that they'll nerf the hero power. I think that they'll probably nerf around it. They went really hard on, making this kind of be like, the new hotness. They've only ever like changed a hero power once, and that was, Wrath of Bear Totem, and that was a few years into it. So I bet that they nerf around it. I can definitely see them nerfing things that get broken with this within a week, because I definitely think, like you're saying, Nate, that it's going to get broken in the first week. Like, someone's going to break it, and it's going to be really cool. Yeah.
Like, they'll give it +10/+10 and Wind Fury or something like that. They're like, oh, fun and interactive. That being said, oh, sorry, go for Hydra.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that watching The Angry Chicken, I noticed that Celestalon had mentioned that they toyed around with it actually being Rush and settled that charge was actually better for it. So they did it. They did do the Rush thing, but charge ended up working out to be best. So
I mean, I'm glad, because I think Rush would have felt underwhelming, but still, it's like, whoa, that has some potential to be scary. That being said, like, I was reading some of these articles, and they had mentioned that when they had pushed out Demon Hunter, that it was kind of rushed, and a lot of the final design was not done until very close to launch. And now, like, they've had stuff done for months, and so they were saying that they put a lot more time, energy into testing. I think part of it was related to, hey, we did Demon Hunter like not that long ago, and we learned a lot from it. And so we can take what we learned and apply that and maybe do some things a little bit differently. And so I'm not super worried about it. And I'm actually really excited, because this class seems pretty complex, and we're getting a ton of cards along with it as well. And so it seems like they really are, like, they put a lot of energy into this new class.
Yeah.
So I don't know, neat ideas. They're experimenting with like the UI. It's interesting because they have such limited space on the board, especially on mobile. And so now they've added this new button for the corpse counter. And so there's so much news. I'll just jump into it. So
that's a great segue to talk about corpses.
Right. So new mechanic specific to this class is called corpses. So when a friendly minion dies, the Death Knight gains a corpse. There's a counter underneath where your like mana counter is with your mana crystals, and then the little number of mana that you have that shows how many corpses that you have. And then this number, like, you can spend it to do stuff like power up your cards, and then they do a special thing depending. And to make that even more complicated, there's like 3 subclasses of Death Knight based on another mechanic called runes. It's a deck building mechanic. You've got red, blue, and green. So the blood rune, frost rune, unholy rune. And so in your deck building, you can include these cards in your deck that have one of these rune types, and depending on the combination, they do different things. And so they each have a theme. The blood is the red one. The theme of that class, I guess you want to call it, or subset, is
That rune, yeah.
board control. Yeah, board control effects, large minion, cards that manipulate life totals. I imagine maybe there's some life steal or something in there. I don't know. Frost says powerful burst potential, direct damage, card draw, mana manipulation, and freeze effects. It's like, oh, sounds like mage. And this is why I think one of these cards is getting nerfed that we'll talk about in a little bit. But when you talk about burst potential, in the reveal video, they talked about comboing. Like, there will be some like OTK type stuff, probably direct damage. So spell damage going face, mana manipulation. Oh, my eyes are rolling already. And freeze effects. So like, cool. We will reduce the mana of all of our cards, send all the damage to your face, and freeze your board. Sounds like freeze mage all over again. But we'll see how that plays out. And then the third one, the green one, is called
My
Unholy. Yeah, this will be interesting. So summons undead minions, summons swarms of minions, and generate/spend corpses. And then so you can go all in, like pure on one rune, and use like all three. So you've got 3 slots. And so I could go all red, all blue, all green, or you could do like 2 and 1, or I think that Celestalon said you could do like 1-1-1, but they don't recommend it because if you did that, it'd be like pretty weak.
Spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah, you want to kind of focus on one area, it sounds like. I mean, it's hard to know without actually playing it, but
yeah, and so a lot of the different cards will have like a number of runes on them. So, you know, some of them, the ones that are more, for example, unholy, kind of focused, will have 2 unholy runes or 3 on it. And so if your deck doesn't have like 2 of them basically set up for that, then you can't play it. So if you have 1 of each, then you can't play anything with 2 of a certain kind of rune. Whereas if you have all 3, then you can, play anything with all that particular kind of rune on it. It's
God, that's good.
A really interesting deck building mechanic.
Will it let you still build it if you? So you could just like not get an effect.
You could put
or
it
what?
in your.
You can't put it in your deck.
Put it in your deck.
Oh, you can't.
Oh,
okay,
well,
that's good.
No.
I was like, there's going to be people who like stick it in their deck, but then they can't play it because they didn't have like met the requirement. Will it just not let you add it to your deck at all?
Right. And so whenever you're like setting up
that's good.
your like Death Knight deck, whenever you're like choosing your different runes that you choose, you can how whenever you select, Gen or Baku, it's like, hey, do you want to only see odd cards or only see even cards? Yeah. It basically does something kind of like that.
It'll filter what you can put in.
Right. But it's a lot more dynamic and intuitive than the way that Gen and Baku is. And, if you add the way that Gen and Baku work is, if you add any other kind of tags or search, then, that kind of gets wiped out. That's not so much the case with the runes. They did a lot of work on that. But also you can kind of like toggle it so to where you can see the other things, but they'll either like be grayed out or you can't select it or something, kind of like that. Mm. So they did a lot of work from what I've heard. I haven't seen anything. This is just, me paying attention to all the news and the stuff and things. They did a lot of work to make it really intuitive, even though it's kind of like clunky to explain. Whenever you actually get to see it's a lot more kind of intuitive in that deck building process. And if you're not a deck builder, whenever you copy and paste a deck code, you don't have to worry about it at all, which is great.
Yeah. I'm glad that they did, in addition to the colors, they also did shapes. So it's like diamond, circle, and square. And then within those, the blood is like a blood drop. The frost is like a little
snowflake.
I want to say snowflake, but it looks like a ninja star. And then the unholy. I keep wanting to say fell because it's green and it looks like fell, but it's unholy, has like the little skull on it. But it's got to be good for people who are like colorblind or something that could identify without having to look at the colors. But it seems neat and it feels complex. And I'm happy that I think with Demon Hunter, when it was released, even though it had the initiate set and the prologue, that it was kind of limited. They had mentioned in some of the articles that like early on when they released Demon Hunter, they wanted there to be multiple playable archetypes, like big Demon Hunter, or like the little, what do you call it, like small minion, like 1/1 rush, like token Demon Hunter,
yeah.
to be viable, and they're just not, because there's not enough support for those archetypes. And they were saying, I think that's kind of one of the lessons learned here, is that, well, we want there to be 3 distinct like playable archetypes on launch. And so I guess we'll get to it in just a second, but like there's a lot of cards coming with launch, which is really cool. I mentioned that the hero power summons a 1/1 undead ghoul. Undead is the new minion type. So now it will be like just I guess it's like a tribe, like Murloc or Elemental. Undead is being added. And then we're getting a returning evergreen keyword, so Reborn, that I think was with, was it Rosticon's Rumble or Uldum or something? But anyways, we had
it's been
Reborn
a while.
Yeah.
mechanic. So your thing, like when it dies, it comes back with 1 health, and a bunch of, I guess there's going to be a bunch of Reborn theme around the Death Knight class, which makes sense. And so they were like looking back at old minions and were like, well, we've got a bunch of things that are like, oh, is it undead, or is it this other class? Is it a beast or a Murloc or whatever? And like insert why not both meme. And that's kind of what they did. Oh, why not both? So now they went and retroactively added, we've got a bunch of minions. I don't know if they settled on a number, but there's a bunch of minions both in the new set and in old sets that will all be dual type minions. And so they'll have 2 tribes. So Patches, for example, is going to be a demon and a pirate.
We can now bring back Patches with Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
What
I've
we've
been waiting for this
always
day.
wanted. Yes.
Thank you.
It's really interesting because that I mean, Mercs is in a funky place right now, but that was a weird thing, right? Where they started getting into tribes really heavy, like, oh, there's like human is a tribe there, and so is pirate. It almost makes me wonder, like, oh, what about Edwin? Is he going to be a human and a pirate? Like, well, they don't really support Mercs, but that's another story.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough time to really get into, I think, my thoughts on the mercenary kind of debacle, but there's a bunch of stuff now that are going to be dual type: undead pirate, undead beast, mech beast, mech demon, like undead Murloc, you name it. There's a whole bunch. And so one thing that I have in here that is relevant specifically to Wild, bringing back Deathstalker Rexar. When you create a Zombeast, Celestalon clarified that it will always be dual type undead beast. So it doesn't matter which 2 you pick. It's always going to be like the Zombeast is going to be an undead beast no matter what. So it was a really good question by Imic. Answer from Celestalon: Zombeasts will all be undead beasts regardless of what component beasts are chosen.
So that changes how it would work normally, like completely, right?
Yeah, because, well, it was always going to be a beast though, right?
Yeah.
The beast, yeah, for sure. But now definitely the undead part will be there.
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
New keyword called Mana Thirst. So cards with Mana Thirst get more powerful once you reach a specified amount of mana. You don't need to spend the mana to power up the card. You just need access to it. And so they gave us a couple examples. Arcane Bolt says deal 2 damage. Mana Thirst 8, deal 3 damage instead. And so that just means that if you have the card and you have 8 mana, it will deal 3 instead. It still costs the same, like 1 mana, but it would do the bonus effect. It reminds me a lot of the upgradable cards, like Conviction or whatever, where like, all right, it starts out, the ranked ones, yeah. So it starts out low, and then when you hit this mana, it increases, and then when you hit 10, it increases again. And so the cool thing is, like, they don't have to be in your hands. You just have to have access to that amount of mana to do the upgraded ability.
So is there
which is
any
pretty
difference
cool.
between these cards and those cards, or could they be changed to Mana Thirst as well?
So technically, Mana Thirst only has like a second rank to it.
Instead of like the 3.
right.
Yeah,
And
they're
ranked
all
two,
different.
ranked two is, rank 2 goes into effect at 5 mana, and rank 3 goes into effect at 10, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, so it's different places, and these can be whatever place.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the 3 examples we have on screen for our listeners are Arcane Bolt with Mana Thirst at 8, Embers of Strength with Mana Thirst at 6, and Sun Fury Clergy with Mana Thirst at 6 as well. So the
Technically, they could get the keyword Mana Thirsted, say, at 5 and at 10, though, I suppose.
they could. I think they're just different, themes, different keywords, essentially there, to kind of make them different flavors and different kind of set
It's
specific
new.
things. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's the same, but new.
Same,
Like it, though.
same, but different.
Yeah.
We also got a neutral legendary spell called the Sunwell. Those of you who have listened to our lore episodes have, I'm sure, heard about the Sunwell before. This is a 9 mana neutral legendary spell. It says fill your hand. It's a holy spell. Fill your hand with random spells. They cost. This costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. And so if you've got a full hand, it only costs 1, which is interesting. I've played a little bit with it, and I don't really like it. I think it kind of felt clunky to me because if I've got a full hand, like cool, I can play it for 1 or 2, but then I'm only getting 2 spells.
Yeah.
And then if it fills up my hand and I can't play those, then I'm gonna like mill a card, which I don't want. I mean, it's interesting if you've got no cards and you play it for like 9, and then now I've got a full hand of random cost stuff.
Or you're a
But it's
druid with Guff.
True.
What's mana? Yeah. It's interesting. They are random, and you get like random spells from all the different classes, and it's just it's the the classic Hearthstone RNG fiesta, and so it's a fun card, but I don't know that I would play it competitively. I think I mean, you could drop it into like Reno Priest if you really wanted to, but the randomness of it makes it kind of like, eh. So I don't know. Have either of you tried it?
I haven't. Well, yes, I have, but not because I put it in my deck. I was playing.
I discovered it.
Yeah, I was playing Holy Paladin and discovered this from the 2 mana 1/3 that you discover a holy spell. It was fine. I think that last expansion's like pre-release legendary was Renathal, and that was everywhere and like hyper competitive, and this is not. And I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah,
It might be on purpose. That's happened a lot where they give us the thing and it changes everything. So I'm okay with that too.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
it's another Mare the Fox.
Exactly.
It basically is Mare the Fox.
And we could play this in a hand deck as well, like Chad is saying. And in fact, we do have in our format a Warlock card that expands the size of our hand to where we can make the Sunwell cost less and fill up even more of our hand.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those things that's a lot of fun, but not really competitively viable. And I think that's a good thing, especially on the heels of Renathal.
Yeah. I got a little tired of seeing Renathal everywhere all the time for months. So yeah. Okay, more new stuff. I did a lot of digging on this one because I had so many questions. There are a new type of card coming called signature cards, and a new type of pack coming called signature golden packs. Okay, so signature is a new cosmetic quality that cards can have, like golden or diamond. These ones have stylized full art images. They will launch with patch 25.0, which is when March of the Lich King launches. Interesting that they said that, because I don't really like the design very much personally. I didn't feel like it had a lot of flavor, but they said that for this set specifically, the signature cards will have an icy sepia style to evoke the Lich King's power over Frost and the Undead. So these ones, they look kind of like grayish blue and iron and frosty, whatever. They're supposed to have full art images on them. But the interesting piece is they said that the art style will change each expansion to match that expansion's theme. So the card frame may change, and they said will change in future expansions to match that expansion's theme. And that the card frame may change in the future sets to evoke different tones and styles. Like, okay, so this is unique to March of the Lich King, and then the ones in the next set will look differently. So how do you get them? They cannot be crafted. They cannot be disenchanted. So if you get one, you can't dust it, which is interesting. It can't be crafted or disenchanted. They can only be opened through packs or earned through other special means. There are some that are going to be in the Tavern Pass, and others through like either the shop or like special events. For this set, there's going to be a total of 18. So 18 total signature cards in March of the Lich King, including 15 legendary cards. That is a lot. I thought it was 5 at first. I had to reread it. 15. So 2 of the legendary cards will be part of the Tavern Pass. The other 13 can be opened in either standard packs or March of the Lich King packs or class packs or signature golden pack. And so what the heck is a signature golden pack? It's basically they're rebranding golden packs for March of the Lich King. So you can still get golden packs like they're in the store now. Golden standard packs or golden packs for other expansions. But for March of the Lich King, they're calling them golden signature packs. The interesting thing with this is that they're similar to normal golden packs, but they have an increased chance to include signature cards, and the odds are better of opening a legendary.
Quite a bit better,
there's
in fact.
like quadruple better. And so they say the average is 1 in 5, and which is cool. There's a whole article on what the actual odds are, but basically there's a little snippet here. Golden signature packs, it said they have much better overall odds opening legendary card, and there's a whole article here about it, but it sounds like they quadruple. And then there's something here where if you get a signature card, I think that you already have in regular, they will offer you now when you open the card to re-roll it if you don't want it, which is like, oh, like I want to keep it, but like
that's more not just for them, it's for like the rewards track. That's the thing. Remember how we used to have to figure out if we wanted to claim our rewards track legendaries first or open our packs first? It doesn't matter. You can now re-roll if you get something that is going to be on the rewards track.
And
instead of getting that dust refund.
Yeah. So, and point of clarity, what you're re-rolling is not the thing that you just opened. It's the one that you already have. So, for example, if I have the Lich King, right? And you know, I have a golden Lich King, right? And then I open up a signature Lich King, I can re-roll my golden Lich King into something that's the same rarity, the same golden status, and from the same set. So if you open a signature thing, you get to re-roll what you already have, because I mean your signature thing you can't change. But rather than having it be like a bad deal and you know there being a way to game the system and opening X, Y, or Z first, don't even worry about it, because if you end up getting a signature thing that you know already have, then you can get something else instead that you already had. So it actively makes it better for us there, which, you know, if they're having this, I'm going to be honest, signature cards are whale bait.
Oh yeah.
And bait tastes delicious.
Worse, right? Because what's a little bit scary is there's two types of signature cards, right? There's signature cards and then there's golden signature cards, right?
What?
Are there?
No,
Or are
There better not be,
there's not.
or else. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank God. Okay. All right.
Oh, no.
Okay. Thank
I was
you.
like,
Thank you.
oh no,
I know. Yeah,
gotta
it was-
catch them
it was-
all.
Yeah. So a kind of funny thing happened in the midst of all of this. Hearthstone updating their card library on their website to include these new cards, and somebody found Theatar on there, and it looked a little bit different. As a showed up in the card library as a 6 mana 4/4. For those of you listening and not familiar, Theatar is currently after the nerf 5 mana 3/3. And so the question was like, what's going on with that? Is there going to be a nerf, or is this an oops, or what's, And Aleko confirmed it on Twitter. It says the Theatar change spotted today on our website is real. He, along with Ice Revenant, who nobody ever thought would be nerfed because nobody plays it.
I know.
We'll
I
be
was
getting
looking at
nerfed.
that. I'm like, is there something I'm missing? Is that a thing in standard that I have not been aware of?
And
I don't.
I only
Plus
I don't
two,
even
plus
know what
two
set
card?
it's from.
so it's from Fractured in Ultrac Valley, and the only reason why I knew that Ice Revenant was a thing is I've been playing Elemental Mage in Standard, because all of our Death Knights, which we haven't gotten there yet, but all of our Death Knights are and the whole Knights of the Frozen Throne set is back in Standard right now, and included in the core set, so you have access to everything. And so I've been playing Elemental Mage, and hey, I'm running a lot of Frost spells, so I jammed Ice Revenant into that, and it's been great. Like, let me tell you what, they were smart to nerf it in advance for Frost Death Knight in particular.
They give
definitely.
a quest that says freeze X amount of minions, right? It's like, what goes along with that? The thing that gets +2/+2 every time you do spend a frost spell.
I wonder.
Yeah, so it got changed to, well, I guess
It will
it's
be.
getting changed
Yeah.
to still be same mana cost. It's a 4 mana 4/5, but now it's whenever you cast a frost spell, gain +1/+1 instead of +2/+2. And it makes sense because not only will there be a bunch of new frost spells, I assume for all of the classes, because Death Knights, and frost stuff, but the new Death Knight class, if you want to call it that, or rune, like Frost Rune, with the combo burst potential and mana reduction, like, I'm sure you could break this. And so it's just a preemptive nerf on this card.
Let's go
So-
free shaman support. Murabi.
Yes.
Murabi.
You
Murabi.
can get out your golden Murabi for this. Get it ready. So, big shout out to Imic for the graphic. I don't know what's up on the screen at the moment, but we got a graphic from Imic, and so thank you for that. Someone want to jump into the bundles, and then we do have, gosh, I guess the Frozen Throne stuff is still to come. There's so much. But anyways,
there's a lot. So for
there's a couple bundles.
Yeah, we got the mega bundle like always, and we got the standard bundle. So you can go big, or you can go also big but not quite as big, right? Because they're not of an insignificant cost. But so the mega bundle gives you 80 March of the Lich King packs, 5 signature golden March of the Lich King packs, 2 March of the Lich King legendary cards, the entire Path of Arthas set.
Oh,
and it,
real quick, not just legendary cards, but signature legendary cards, in fact.
Woo! Yes. My bad. I wrote that wrong. I am a little bit sad that they don't have the dragon like border on the top to indicate that they're legendary, because that was, to me, always so iconic.
I see what you're saying. In that image, it doesn't have that. In the image with the question mark, it's not showing that at all.
Yeah.
It's got the gem. Like, if you super zoom up, you'll see the orange gem, but like or gold or whatever color that's supposed to be. But they removed the dragon from the top border of it, where it used to have that kind of curved, spiny back to it that all the legendary cards have. And so I'm a little bummed, but they could do something different next time. But yeah, because
Signature
a lot of
cards.
times you get two golden legendaries, and so instead of that, you get two signature legendary cards.
Mhm.
I'm really interested to see, because they're going to be full art. It's
Mhm.
probably similar to the diamond ones. I don't love the design, if I'm honest. Zombies posted something earlier this week of like how it actually looks and how it could look even better based on like someone's design on Reddit that was really awesome. But it's a neat idea, and I love that they're not necessarily married to this style, that like in a future set they will redesign what the signature card looks like based on that set's theme. And so that, I think, to me is really cool, that like this does look Lich King like, though, based on like the border and the colors and stuff. And so just wait until there's a Hazelbark themed expansion, and
I
it'll all be
can't
like
wait.
right? It'll all be like wrapping around like vines and leaves and little delightful all over it.
Yeah. And speaking of different potential signature card looks, Emic also made a draft, kind of an alternate signature card as
It looks so
well.
good.
And honestly,
so
like
rad.
that one looks even cooler, because instead of like the border and like the title being like over the middle of the card, it's like up at the top, and like a lot of really better, like even just using the same general idea, a lot better, in my opinion, design choices there too. So I look forward to seeing what they do with subsequent ones. This one I think looks all right. The ones that actually made it into the game, but I think that they have given us so much stuff to wade through right now. Whenever this is something that's more commonplace, and that they're putting more direct, individualized attention to per expansion, that honestly those designs will probably be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
The bummer with these, so with like a golden legendary, you can craft it, and these you cannot craft. You can
Nope.
only open them in packs. That being said, the drop rate is not it's low in normal packs, but it's pretty high in the golden signature packs.
Mm-hmm.
They said like 1 in 5 average, which is pretty high.
Buy it.
Well,
Whale
definitely-
noises.
Yeah, I don't know.
The other thing, there's a new hero skin, Hunter, Lorthamar, Hunter hero skin, Lorthamar card back, and then the other piece is that it also includes the entire Path of Arthas set. I actually think that this got me. We'll get to it in a second, but so there's I guess you would call it like a prologue set or something.
Yeah, we'll get to that in about half an hour.
Yeah, that will be coming.
I had to scroll to get there.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
So it's included in this bundle, anyways.
And only in the mega bundle. This is not included in the standard bundle. Correct.
You can buy it
but
separate.
you can buy it separately.
Yeah.
So it's not only in the mega bundle, but it's also not in the standard bundle. Correct.
So you can buy the standard bundle.
Yeah. Or you can buy both.
Yeah, you can buy both. You can buy all of the things. You can buy the standard. Yeah. So the standard bundle, you get the 80 March of the Lich King packs.
Nope.
The
60.
60, not 80. 60.
There you
My
go.
bad. They could bump it to 80. You never know.
That'd be nice.
Just kidding. You get the 2 random March of the Lich King legendary cards.
Mhm.
All right. This is not golden. This is not the new card. This is 2 random Lich King legendary cards. And then you get the Lorthamar hero skin and the Lorthamar card back that also the mega bundle does have.
So you don't get the hero portrait with this one. That's only the mega bundle. So this one's just the two legendary cards, the 60
Quick,
packs,
someone delete that.
and the card back.
What's the
There was so
timestamp? Delete what
much,
I said.
right? Speaking of timestamp, okay, great segue, because historically these are unavailable like as of the time the expansion launches, and they're doing something new this time where both bundles will be available for 1 week after launch. So
That's
if
awesome.
you start playing with it and you're like, oh, this is cool, I want this, like you can still get the bundles because the bundle's such a better deal. And that's just really, it's really neat. I can't imagine how many times they've been asked, can I still get it? Or I think Nick Weiss was saying, like, how many times do people ask me, like, oh, when can I buy the thing until you can buy it until it launches? Like, don't wait until 9:59 a.m. to buy the thing and then it doesn't go through.
But
Like,
what if I don't get paid till 9:59 a.m.?
Well, now you have a little bit of extra time. Check it, because both of these bundles, and I didn't call them pre-order bundles, because both of these bundles will also be available 1 week after the expansion launches as well. So
Finally, I love that. That's an amazing quality of life change, because I don't remember which expansion it was. It's been years at this point, but there was a point in time where I was like, yeah, I'll get it. And then I was like, I didn't get it.
no.
And then I had to spend the 9,000 Canadian dollars to buy like the 80 packs or whatever.
yes, I don't. Do we say it comes out in about a month, December the 6th?
6th.
All right, more stuff, and this was something that was not included in these like expansion launch stuff. This was something that was jammed in, like hidden in the patch notes of the 26.4 patch, 24.6 patch. New cosmetic legendary hero skins coming. We've only seen one. I don't know how many there will be, but a new dealio here. They have new animations when they enter play, new animations for the hero power. There's a new unique tray that's like the designy thing around the portrait. They replaced the normal hero frame with and then the character model within your like hero portrait is not like static artwork or like animated artwork. It's like fully rendered 3D thing now. Yeah, kind of like the diamond cards is really kind of what it looks like. They do stuff, and there's all new voice lines, custom character animations for a variety of actions such as attacking, summoning minions, casting spells, emotes, and more. The first legendary skin will be Arthas Menethil, and it will be for the Death Knight class. It's going to be available for pre-purchase starting November 8th, so just a couple of days away, as part of the Arthas Menethil bundle. Now, here's the rub, right? This is so goofy that they're doing this, right? You can buy it now, November 8th, so in a couple of days, but you can't use it until the expansion launches on December 6th because it's for the Death Knight class, and you can't play the class until December 6th. So you can buy it if you want, but you can't use it. So there you go.
And also,
old man yells at cloud.
And also, I thought, and I'm going to keep on saying this every time a bundle comes out, and that's the only way you can get something. I thought the whole point of runestones were going to be that we didn't have to buy things in bundles, and we could, like, you know, spend more monies on like just different individual things. But Nate, like Nate said, this is only going to be available in the Arthas Menethil bundle. So yet again, it's going to be bundled with something else. So what's the value of just the portrait itself? I don't know. What's the value of the other stuff in the bundle? Also don't know. Like, I'm going to keep on bringing this up because, I mean, that's one of the things that I think that we're kind of tasked with doing as people listen to. The whole point was that we could spend less. So
two things though. They just did. So we're not a Battleground show, but we all kind of play. In Battlegrounds right now, they just dropped 3 portraits that are individually purchased for 200 runestones. I love that.
Yes.
That's cool.
More of that.
Yeah.
For all modes.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be really cool. But getting into bundled stuff, people were complaining with the last Tavern Pass because there was mercenary stuff, there was battleground stuff, and like, well, we don't play that, so why should we get this Tavern Pass and it's going to give us stuff that we're not going to use? And so they made a specific point to note that in these bundles, I wanted to say pre-order bundle, but whatever, Death Knight bundles, it's only Hearthstone proper stuff. It doesn't include battlegrounds. It doesn't include mercenaries. It doesn't, it's just Hearthstone stuff, which is cool. And I like that.
See, I feel that too, because when I get to a certain point on the rewards track and I get that new hero portrait, and I'm like, why does the border look funny? Oh, wait, that's a battlegrounds one. And like, I'll play battlegrounds with my homies or whatever. But to me, it's not a mode I'm super active in, and I rather have Hearthstone proper hero skins. So the separating of the different modes, I think is pretty cool for this.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. So and then one more new feature that everyone by now has seen. There's a new special events UI. For those of you not in the know, user interface has an icon for it in our menu. It looks kind of like a wax seal type thing, where there's now a special menu for time-specific, unique quest events. And so right now we're doing Hallows Eve, a little bit late, but better late than never. And so there is now a specific, event-specific rewards track for special events, and you can track your progress. You can track your the rewards that you've earned, and the little
progress towards the next one. And,
all in this specific place. It's pretty cool, and I really like this. Like, I've been able to track my progress. I've gotten everything so far except the priest hero portrait. I think you've got until, I don't know, you got a little while, right? Is it 2 weeks or something, or is it until this launches? I think it's 2 weeks.
I think it was.
Anyways,
you've got.
Yeah, you've still got a while, and the kind of like daily one. So two different essentially daily tasks kind of come up. Like in the picture there, one is 60 gems. I don't remember what they were called. The other one is 50 on there, and progressing through both of those, like on the daily, should be able to unlock it pretty quick. I've already unlocked all of the things. So if you're just kind of playing a lot, you'll get there, whether you're doing it or not.
I instantly panicked on this one because I'm like, no, must do it on every server. Go. And I was like, okay, I gotta drop my stupid Death Knight 3 times in a row. I gotta play it, and then
it gets worse, dude, because
I'm sure it does.
The one that took me forever was you have to play Cindergrossa, and then Cindergrossa generates
ping your little dudes. Yeah,
and then they both have to die, and then you have to get the legendaries in your hand. Like, I kept, although I will say, part of me wonders if they tweaked like the RNG, because the number of times that I had Cindergrossa in my opening hand was ridiculous. It was like 4 out of 5 or whatever. It was like, it was happening all the time, but either I would die or the game would end before I could play her, or I'd play her and I finally got around to playing her, and she drops the 2 0/1s. And then I've got 9 cards, 10 cards in my hand. I was like, no, don't kill those things. I need to I finally did it. I did it today, like on my lunch break, but I was stressing about that too.
It's silly because I was just doing the Keleseth one, right? You could do whatever the prince is, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna play Keleseth deck. For the love of God, why can I not just draw? You know how many times I drew Keleseth back in the day? No. Shadow Step, like, come on, like over and over and over again. I'm like, and then I just started playing in casual. And guess what everyone else is doing? They're playing the exact same Keleseth Rogue from like 2018 or whatever it is that I am. We were all playing the exact same deck. Like, everyone typed in Keleseth Rogue on Google.
Dude.
and found
The
the same deck, and it was full of mirrors. It was so funny.
That was the first deck I almost hit legend with and didn't make it. I got to rank 1 and 2 stars or 3 stars, and then I don't remember, either lost or like the month rolled over. And I was so close, but I'll never forget because like it was the month before, and then I hit legend for the first time the next month.
How long will this go on?
But like that's like the best combo back then was like Keleseth, Shadow Step, Keleseth, Shadow Step, Keleseth, and
look at my Saturday chain gang. It's so huge.
Just tempo rogue, so fun. It's cards rogue. Just play on curve, and my favorite way to play.
I do like these quests, though. It's making people play these Death Knights that may or may not have played them before, and if you had, you're stoked that I can play these cards again, right? And if you never played them before, that's also super exciting. So I really like that they're making us do it all over again. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Finally,
if you want the thing.
Well, it's a great segue also because we as Wild players have been around for such a long time, but for newer players who have never played like What's a Death Knight, like, we've been there, done that many times over. But they've brought back the entire Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion for free as part of the core set up until the launch of March of the Lich King.
Do not disenchant your Knights of the Frozen Throne cards. It is only in the core set for a moment of time. Do not disenchant Frozen Throne cards, please. Okay.
No.
PSA.
You'll be bummed. Yes, Wild players do not, unless you don't want them anymore, but you ain't getting them back. So this is just so that everyone can experience them and get like pumped for more Death Knights while we're waiting. I love the artwork here. I actually have this as a print when Knights of the Frozen Throne is my favorite expansion, hands down. Like that was my favorite time in Hearthstone, especially with Anduin and Blood Reaver Gul'dan is one of my favorite cards, and this print right here, like I have, is like a numbered print from Hearthstone, like
cool.
Framed. It's in a box somewhere right now, but my wife bought it for me. I love it. That's an amazing gift. I had it as my background forever, but I downloaded that for free. But in a print is way better. That's so much cooler. It's really cool. It's so neat. And then
it's pretty cool.
But there is so much other stuff that we're just not covering. But the 2-second version is there's battleground stuff. There's a limited time event called the Battle Bash, and you can unlock a bunch of stuff.
I've already done it.
Getting top 4. I'm gonna try to do it over the weekend. I'm about halfway done. But it's really cool. I love the new board. The new board is really cool. I really want the Horseman Uther bartender.
He's really cool.
I love him. Does he rhyme like he does in Hearthstone?
So after I got him, I was playing muted because I was also like listening to the like screen reader read off, stuff for class. So unfortunately I didn't hear him so much, but I'm going to whenever I'm, able to properly get to it there. He looks
That's some good multitasking though.
Thank you.
Right.
Battlegrounds honestly is the perfect like do stuff while I'm studying, because like the shop phase is there, and then I can just go to studying, and then I see movement and I know that the battle's going on, and then I can go up at the end of it. So Battlegrounds is my multitask mode.
I enjoy it. And I love that you get the unlocks by getting top 4, because when they had the superhero portrait unlocked that you had to get first place, like I was sweating bullets because like I feel like top 4 is achievable, but getting first, like I don't do that very often. I mean, sometimes, but like not that often. And
you know what the key to that is? To have a really bad MMR and then just play the game every once in a while. That's what I did.
So the very last Battle Bash unlock that I got, the Bob's Buddy thing was like, oh yeah, you have like a 95% to win, like a 3% to tie, and a 1% to lose in the final battle. Like it was just me and one other person. And I lost, and I was like, hey, top 2 doesn't matter. I unlocked the final like hammer. It's fine. But like if I was going for that number 1 spot, I would have been like so upset and like just irate. But this one is like, hey, top 2, good enough. I'm happy. Moving on.
I like it.
Jeez.
Yeah. They learned.
Okay, so there's a new mercenary, Rattlegore, that you can get for free by doing the time. I love it. You can get it for free by doing these timed events. Watch, old Guardian or Zombies. I'm sure they have videos on how to do them if you need help. There is the Mercenaries coin rework and renown system and the campfire update. It sucks.
Yeah, you have to wait
about that later. Dude, it's not like Zombies is pretty upset about it, and it's been okay for me, but it works very differently than the way that they made it sound like it worked, and it's really slow. And the new quest party thing I think it's kind of dumb, but whatever. There's a dual class arena right now, which they always do this time of year, which is pretty fun. And
which is not available until March. It's only available until when March of the Lich King launches.
And also all of the classes, all of the expansions that are in are pre Death Knight, but they haven't rolled Death Knight out of the thing. So if you go into arena, don't choose Death Knight, because you'll only get to choose neutral cards. There are no Death Knight cards included in there. So
that's
people are gonna be like, "Oh, Death Knight, I'm picking it," and then get screwed. Yeah, it was a
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Pro tip.
Well, okay, and then getting into all of this other stuff here. So kind of like with Demon Hunter and Demon Hunter Initiate. So there will be Death Knight core set, so 32 cards in the Death Knight core set, which everyone gets for free. There's a prologue solo content. You finish it, you get the entire 32 card Death Knight core set for free. I assume that you unlock the Goldens by leveling up the class, because that's how Demon Hunter worked. Then there is another prologue mission that you have to pay for called the Path of Arthas. There are 49 cards in that. It's 26 cards, which includes 3 legends, 3 epics, 9 rares, 11 commons. But when you duplicate all that, like 2 ofs, it's a total of 49 cards. This is a one-time Death Knight only set to help the class catch up with the other classes to start with more cards. This is available when March of the Lich King launches. So here's how you can get it. This is the part that messed me up, and I'm not super thrilled about, but whatever. They'll all get nerfed anyways. You can. So if you get the Mega Bundle, the Path of Arthas set is included in that bundle, or you can buy it with 2,000 gold, which is cool, or 1,500 runestones, which is $15, which is cool. That's like 200 Canadian. But here's the other piece of it. There's going to be a golden version of it that you can get with 7,000 runestones.
So like $70.
Yep, $70 US dollars.
And that would be a full golden set of the Path of Arthas, and it includes a diamond legendary of a card called Lady Death Whisper, which they haven't revealed it yet. But that was like buried in the patch notes.
Shh, Death Whisper.
They did say that the Diamond Lady Death Whisper will also be available to purchase as a standalone product. So if you don't, it's not locked behind the golden purchase paywall. Like you will have an opportunity to get it some other way. They didn't say how yet. They did say that the Path of Arthas cards cannot be opened from packs, kind of like the Initiate set. Like you got to get the thing, but it's kind of cool that you can get it with gold. And then if you want the Diamond Legend, then you don't have to buy that golden bundle. You can, they're going to sell it, I guess, separately or whatever.
I imagine, and this is just a guess, but Diamond Drekthar was $20. So I imagine that Diamond Lady Death Whisper, Lady Death Whisper. Shh. I imagine that she'll probably be 2,000 runestones. Just it's an educated guess.
That sounds about right.
It's so expensive. I'm unhappy about that. But anyways, there are also 10 class cards for Death Knight in the March of the Lich King expansion. So at launch, I think there's a graphic here that there will be a total of 68 Death Knight class cards. So 32 from the core set, 26 from the Path of Arthas, and then 10 from the expansion. So 68 total, plus all the neutrals, which is a lot more than Demon Hunter had.
And it's more than 2.
And I think it's a lot more than 2. And so ideally, this will help people that want to experiment with the 3 different, like, Blood and Frost and Unholy, like, subclasses or whatever they're called.
I can't wait to play around with those.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. That's going to be my favorite part, is playing around with those 3 different things. Kind of reminds me of, like, Magic, right?
Yeah, very much so.
It does seem cool. And if this works, like, I wonder if they will, like, this will open up design space for the other classes to do cool stuff like that. I don't know. But it's
maybe.
So,
at this point, it'd be hard to backtrack, but
also, I don't think so, because in WoW lore, which again, I haven't played much WoW. This is just from listening to other people as well. Death Knight in particular in WoW is kind of specced with these different runes, and they don't use kind of like mana in the same way, and all that kind of stuff. So because of that, like rune and the way that this is implemented is very much a Death Knight thing. And it has like precedence and kind of standing in WoW lore as well. That doesn't mean that they won't do something kind of like dual classy that you can kind of like do something with in a future expansion, especially if the Death Knight kind of like deck building system, really not really restriction so much as just a different system, is successful, as I hope and think it will be. But I don't think that we'll kind of see runes kind of ported over into other classes because of how just applicable to the lore it is, and specific to Death Knights that is as well.
I do like when they're... Oh, Hydra, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say that I thought was kind of neat was with the corpses and the corpse explosion stuff. Celestalon had mentioned that whole thing is very Diablo inspired. If you've played Diablo and you've played a Necromancer, that's what they do, is when something dies, you can bring back to life as your own type of minion. It's not the same minion that it was before. So was a very Diablo inspired mechanic, which was kind of cool.
That's awesome. They are doing an upcoming event called the Death Knight Show Match. This is going to be on November 16th and 17th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So 12 content creators face off against each other using the various Death Knight rune combinations. And so there's going to be teams, and they will deck build based on these rune combos. So 2 days, 16th and 17th of November. It's going to be live on YouTube and on Twitch. I don't know if this is going to replace like the theory crafting events. I kind of doubt it. I think that this is maybe just to showcase, like, this is Death Knight specific showcase, I think. I haven't received any emails yet. In fact, we can talk later, but like, I just started a new job. I'm not going to be able to take time off in the middle of the week to do this. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, I think that this probably is more kind of replacing some of the like reveal stream type thing where they kind of like, you know, in the past, you know, like Kibler was on and milled Blood Reaver Gul'dan, right? Like that kind
never
of thing.
Forgive him for that.
So
Which farmers remembers.
So I think that this might like more replace that, because it's more showcasing the class and more you know, kind of highlighting that. So I think it's more of that. And like Emic mentions in chat, this is in the middle of reveal season, so we still will be revealed. Like the cards early, are still being revealed.
We won't have everything yet.
Exactly.
So I actually really like this because I think what people tended to be upset about was when with the Theorycraft events, like content creators get early access to everything, and then there's already like good decks, quote unquote good decks to try on day one, and there's an argument that the meta is already established from day one. Like this is a showcase of the class, fighting against the class using different combos of runes. Like I'm here for it. This is awesome because I want to see this. I love the artwork. I love the UI. I love all of the animations. And like this is cool to be able to see the new thing without experiencing like fully pre-made class decks ready to go. I think this is going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to be able to watch it live because I'll be at work, but be able to watch it later, and I think it's really cool. By the way, I got my drops. I'm excited about that too.
Yes.
Free packs.
Drop the mic.
Our homies on the Angry Chicken had Celestalon on the show this week to talk about the Death Knight class. I have not listened yet because I'm a bad friend, but I just started a new job and I'm gonna blame it on that. But I think you both listened, right? There was some really interesting knowledge bombs here about the class and how they came up with it and a lot of the interactions. And I'm just going to stop talking because I haven't watched it. But maybe someone can do a little like recap.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go through all of the notes that I put in the show notes, which recaps the.
There's like 5 pages of it.
Yeah.
You should just watch the episode. It was episode 486 of The Angry Chicken.
And it's a great interview, which is the only thing that I took the notes on, and it's still multiple pages of the notes there. But it's a great listen. Nate mentioned a couple of the things kind of going through some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier that was kind of dropped there. Specifically highlighted is a lot of the things that they learned from Demon Hunter and applied to the Death Knight. So for example, with Demon Hunter, they were kind of like into Ashes and the final hero power was developed like relatively close to the release of Ashes of Outland. Whereas with Death Knight,
how stressful can you imagine?
I can't.
Like,
no,
because they picked the launch date like 3 months in advance. Like, all right, we're going to launch on December 6th. And meanwhile, now it's November, or whatever date it is. It's November the 4th, and we're like, oh yeah, so we decided on that hero power yet? No. Oh, we're still working on ideas. Like, I'd
What
be
do we
like
do?
sweating bullets. So
I cannot even
Jeez.
imagine. So they learned from that for sure. Death Knight development on that started about 2 months before initial design started on the March, not December, of the Lich King set even started. So they were well into the mechanics and had like almost completely firmed up exactly the balance of the hero power and all of that by the time development of March of the Lich King even started. So like they learned from that significantly.
They also had mentioned that
this year,
they thought that starting the Demon Hunter class at the beginning of a new standard rotation was a good idea, and then they decided that was a bad idea. And so that they are now doing it at the end of the rotation in the last set.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting and honestly made a lot of sense because at the very beginning of the kind of
They don't know what's happening yet.
right. Whereas towards the end of the whole standard year, like the meta's pretty settled and like they've got a really firm grasp on the power level of all of the different archetypes and decks and classes and all of that. So being able to balance around that and kind of leading into it versus like, oh, massive standard rotation and a new class and it makes so much sense that thinking initially that, hey, dropping Demon Hunter in with that makes the most sense whenever they were just, ideating on it initially. But learning from that and going, okay, like let's solidify the meta and whatnot before we drop in a class. They learn from that experience.
It's so smart when you think about it, right? Because we all thought the same thing. Fresh start, it would be fine. But this is like, once it was explained to me, I'm like, yeah, no, that's way better. Know your meta, then put the new thing in. Genius.
Right. Well, and this says here, so Demon Hunter launched with 45 cards, and Death Knight is launching with 68 cards. Like, wow. Okay.
That's 50% more
huge.
cards.
That's more than 2.
Thank you. Well, and like you were saying earlier, they didn't have some of the archetypes that they wanted to be like powerful and viable at launch, like Big Demon Hunter and
don't
Token
tell
Demon
Wildcard
Hunter,
that.
right? Like it didn't work like they wanted it to. So the fact that now they've built in more redundancy, and so like if one of the cards kind of like the power level isn't what they expected it to be, now they have so many more cards to put into that archetype that if one or two of the cards fall flat, the archetype itself isn't just like underpowered, which makes so much sense.
It's so sad because Token Demon Hunter still is not good. Big Demon Hunter still is not good.
No.
I mean, it's marginally playable, but like it's just not.
And that's generous.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
There was a pretty cool combo with the when you play Kurtrus and then you play the
expendable performers and the 2 mana card that makes your hero power
0.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome. But I liked that combo, but that's like a finishing combo. That is not a
whole archetype, right? Exactly.
Did we actually hit all the news?
I think we did.
Record time for that amount of stuff. There was like 5-6 different articles that we pulled all of this stuff from. So if we missed anything, let us know.
Our show notes have 23 pages. That is amazing.
We did our homework on this one. There was a lot because it was crammed from all different places, but it's exciting. And I guess we'll see. I think that if they are successful in pulling off this new class, maybe they will be less reluctant to do more. Like, I know they've talked about Monk, right? That there's still probably one in the works. So I guess we'll see. But my hope and dream is that I don't even care about this class. I want a Warcraft animated series after watching this trailer. That's what I want. I have not played. I played one game in Wild since the month changed, right? Today's only the third or the fourth. Today's the fourth, so 3 days ago the calendar rolled over. I kept my 11x, which is great. I played one game of Secret Mage, and I won it, so 100% win rate. I hopefully will play a bunch over the weekend once the internet is restored. Hopefully, I've been trying to do these timed events in Hearthstone because I want the cosmetics before they're gone, and I don't want to buy them. I want to unlock them all, and so I've been doing the Hollow's Eve stuff because it's cool. I especially want that priest skin. I've been doing the battleground stuff because it's really cool, and I got the board, but I want all the stuff really. And then I want that Rattlegore, and so I've been focusing on that other stuff. And I thought, let me unlock. Once I've unlocked all of it, then I will play some Wild. I think that I'll probably play Secret Mage. I'm using the list.
That was a really good impression, Sheep.
Thank you.
You know, the Secret Mage right now isn't so bad because last week I was saying how I only had like 6 or 7 wins to get my 1000k Jaina, and our good friend Schmoopy gave us, or sorry, Schmoopy Daddy, not Schmoopy's Daddy's child, gave me a list, and I just destroyed with it. It was ridiculous. So, and it's not even like a meta list. Like, it had Khadgar in it, and it's not something you would normally play, and it still absolutely did awesome. So it's not a bad deck to play.
The list I'm playing, I got from Rotted Zombie. He posted it on Twitter. I think I shared it in the Discord, and he had mentioned that last month he was very busy with work, didn't have a lot of time to play, kind of waited until late in the month and just jammed through with it. And I like the list. It runs, I think it's a 40 card list, but it runs a Lunith. There's just a ton of card draw, and it's awesome. And then
Lunith kind of be back.
Yeah. Especially, it doesn't feel so bad in a 40 card version of it because you're not worried about milling yourself. And then I saw Ian LaBruce, who's normally like the Paladin expert, hit legend on like day one with a Secret Mage list as well. I don't think it's in the Discord yet, but I'll share it. And he had said, "Hey, there's a new Pokemon game coming out. The new Dad of Boys is coming out next week." Yeah, the new God of War Ragnarok is coming out next week, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna play God of War, so I want to get Legend out of the way real quick, and now I can play God of War, which is kind of what I would like to do myself." So I saw Armorn in which I was like, "Hey, should I replay God of War before I get Ragnarok?" And it's like that Kermit the Frog, Emperor Palpatine, like, do it.
Do it.
So I dug out the video games from the box of packed stuff to play it. And so, internet or no internet, I will play.
How long is the gameplay for Dad of War?
It depends. Someone had recommended that if I just I already beat it, but it was a long time ago, and I just wanted to refresh on the story. And so the recommendation was hey, set the difficulty level low so you can just power through it really fast. And I thought, you know what? I'm totally down with that.
It's fun for the old ones.
Just playing you're a superhero, which Kratos pretty much is.
Oh my gosh. That game was so great. I don't want to spoil it, but you start out with the axe and you throw the axe and you can retrieve have you played it, Sheep?
Oh yeah. I played Dad of War. Yeah, it's great.
I love it. You have a frost axe and you throw it and you call it back almost like Mjolnir, but halfway through the game probably you get the different weapon and it was like, oh, this game is cool.
Is it your whips? Do your whips back? Is that what it is? The chain whips?
You'll have to see.
You're gonna have to
because I had a friend at work telling me, because he played all the old ones and he loved having the giant chain whip things, and then he started playing the new game and he's like, what are these weapons? I want my old thing back. And he said you had to work your way to get the old thing back.
You know what I have to say to that? Whoopsh, whip it good. Da, 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 da,
yeah, exactly. You get the old thing back.
Da, da, da,
so he's like, don't be disappointed when you don't have your regular weapon.
Just the way that you said it made me think of that song.
Just whip it. Whip it good. Licorice whip.
Tasty.
The frost axe was so stinking cool though, and just the way that he holds it and throws it and then it sticks into things and then he can pull it back. It's amazing. If they ever made a Thor game, they should just duplicate that.
Yes.
It's just perfect. That's how you would throw Mjolnir, right? Am I pronouncing that right? You'd throw it like that and it would hit stuff and it would come back to you. Or Captain America's shield, it's the same idea, right? When it sticks in something and he just you're doing your Jedi force pull to get your lightsaber back, except it's a frost axe. It's so cool. It's so cool. And the earth dragon worm thing, you see it in the distance and you're like, oh my god, that's huge, and then you get up to it and you're like, oh my god, that's huge. The game is amazing. I guess this is a Hearthstone podcast, but I'm really looking forward to God of War Ragnarok.
Boy.
So yeah, I think that is it. Have you guys played Wild since the month reset?
Not so much yet, mostly because I've been doing a lot of school stuff, and Battlegrounds has been my school mode. Over the weekend, I look forward to diving back into Wild again. But that was Tuesday whenever the month started. So I played a lot of Wild over the weekend, but that doesn't reflect in my rank. I did play a few games against, well, I guess one game against our buddy Pigpen last night. I had a challenge a friend quest that both of y'all passed on at different points, and it was there for a while. So I was like, Pigpen, hey, and so got to play a game against him, and then spec'd a game and all that good stuff. But as far as climbing the ladder, that'll happen again this weekend. So excitement abounds. Nice. How about you, Hydra?
Nice. Yeah, so I also have been inundated with school as I've started a new course. I started on Tuesday, so I've spent the last couple days doing that. However, I have been clearing my quests, but this weekend shall be ladder time, and I am very excited, especially since you know what's hilarious is I did this last month. I went in reverse. I don't know why I did this, but I ranked up on Asia first, right? And then I did EU like halfway through the month. And then I waited all the way till the end on NA. I didn't touch it. I don't know what I was. So basically I'm behind on the rewards track on Asia and EU. So I was trying to play those, get more gold. And I was like, wait a minute. I need to play NA. And then only last day jammed my NA up to D5 at the very end. Like barely slid in there because I was so focused on Asia and
EU.
That's the one. Yeah. So
hey, at least you got there.
Yeah, exactly. But I think probably tomorrow we'll start off with NA first thing and do the climb, get that out of the way, like first thing. Good idea. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's always hard. I think when the ladder resets on the weekend, it's like, oh, cool, I can play. During the week, it's harder, and we all have a lot going on right now between school and work stuff that, like, especially when trying to rank up, I like the modes that I can play more casually during the week because I fell asleep playing Battlegrounds last night, and it was like I woke up and I had gotten I was in top 4, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't care that I like AFK'd the last couple rounds on accident because I fell asleep, but I was just trying to unlock the hammer stuff, and I can do that, but like I don't want to play ranked Wild when I'm half asleep because then I'm gonna make bad decisions or lose more, and it's gonna affect my MMR. And but the weekend is the time, and so I'll report back next week. Speaking of next week, we confirmed with Goliath earlier today. We will do a lore episode next week. So I think we are going to go back and do another of our old gods series and hit another one of the old gods. And I think the timing is great. Goliath was saying that between the upcoming lore that we will do for March of the Lich King and this next old gods episode, that they're really going to fall in line quite nicely. So the timing is good.
So get ready to spin the wheel, because next week we are going to learn about our Lord and Savior Yogg-Saron. Excitement abounds.
Pog-Saron.
Exactly.
So that'll be great.
And yeah, I think we'll start planning very soon also for our next listener series. We'll hopefully can do that in conjunction is my hope, but I don't want to make any promises yet. We'll talk offline and then report back to y'all. But we kind of skipped this time around. We didn't get the expansion stuff until pretty late, and then we all had a lot going on and with work and school and moving and all of that stuff. And so we took a break this expansion cycle.
This expansion cycle, both Nate and I moved.
Yeah. And Sheep and I have been doing school, and there's like new humans coming into the world.
Yeah, it was just not. It was just not happening. By the time we got around to
Nate
talking
has a
about
new
it,
job.
yeah, it was just too late to do, and I think we all kind of needed that breather. I had a couple people reach out and they're like, "Hey, if you're gonna stop doing it, we will carry that torch on for you because we'd like it." But I think that we hopefully can, with the help of some friends, we can do some planning and stuff. And ideally, like I love the setup of the show with a spotlight match, and then be a little more hands off during the week. But that part of it is super fun, and I loved how the that last season was based on like the lore of that expansion cycle was really fun. And I think that Goliath, in talking to Goliath very briefly, it sounds like there's an opportunity to potentially do that again. And so again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself before
I'm getting excited.
Does that
Right.
Themed
excitement
listener series.
abound?
What?
it does quite abundant, and so we will see. I don't, no more promises until we all have a chance to talk offline, but I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like there's some potential here, so should be very good. I'm always excited to do another lore episode with Goliath and hanging out with my favorite people. So yeah.
Well, that just about wraps up this week's show. So, for more wild content or to see where you can find us individually, visit us online on our website, www.borntobewildhs.com. We'll see you next time on another episode of
Born to be wild.
Wild.
Job's done.
Job's done.
That's interesting.
Oh dear.